I have to say, the amount of times we heard Chelsea Dagger really pleased me in this one. I mean, we got to hear it 8 times. Well, 9, I guess, if you count after the final horn, and then actually 10 if you count Kunitz's fake goal. The point is, that was fun.
Sucker blue. I don't want to overreact. What was that? This is going to be a good year. Not too shabby. The best game ever.
Hello and welcome to Hawks Recap. Game 50, the big 5-0 has just concluded for the Blackhawks as they put up a Snowman on the board. Pretty fitting with the weather currently in town. Blackhawks beat the Washington Capitals by a score of 8-5. So this is what it feels like to be on the other side of that scoreline. It's kind of nice. Another 13-goal game that the Hawks were a part of in a span of a week here. I mean, it's a fun game. And it was a very good pace to the game, back and forth, but just not a lot of defense when there's 13 goals. And when you don't have a lot of defense, your goaltenders are going to get tested. Stanley Cup champion Braden Holtby in net for the Capitals. Up-and-coming goaltender for the Hawks, Delia. Which one of them is going to survive? 6.5 minutes into the game, the Blackhawks would get on the board first through an incredible effort from Brandon Saad. Picks up the loose puck in the defensive zone and just takes it all the way, splits the defense down the middle, just fighting off everyone. Beats the entire defense of the Capitals and then beats Braden Holtby 1-0. Blackhawks, what a goal. Seriously, holy crap. About a minute and a half after that, Blackhawks with the puck in the offensive zone, moving with the puck, moving away from the puck, creating space for themselves. I mean, this is textbook offensive generation here. Patrick Kane gets the puck and with a boatload of time, walks it in. Caggiula with a screen in front. Not a whole lot of room for Patrick Kane to snipe it through, but he does. And he puts the Hawks up 2-0 in this game. Blackhawks having a good first period, but later on the Capitals would push back. They would get a really good shift going. They'd have the Blackhawks hemmed into their own zone, and Brooks Orpik just kind of throws the puck on net, and it gets by Delia, trickles through. Just a bad goal for Delia to give up, especially when the Hawks kind of had momentum up 2-0. You don't want to let the other team back into the game. And really what I could see from this, from what I could tell, it looked like Delia was just in between two things. It was a puck that he could have easily just blockered away into the corner, but because the Hawks were just hemmed into the zone for a while, the team was tired. I think he wanted to kind of get it frozen and wanted to just soak it up, but he was in between those two scenarios, or those two options when the puck got to him, and it ends up just squeaking kind of through him, and, well, not good. Thankfully, 30 seconds after that, the Hawks push back, get a shot on goal, loose puck in front, Toews tips it, but the puck kind of goes up in the air, and Dmitry Orlov just instinctively bats at it, and he ends up batting it into his own net. And so the Hawks take a 3-1 lead, and that's how this game would go into the second period. Thinking about it now, maybe we should look at trading for Orlov. If he's going to score goals for us, that might be a good move. 2.5 minutes into the second period, Blackhawks with the puck moving through the neutral zone. Dylan Strome with it, but kind of loses it once he crosses over the blue line, but then tips it over to DeBrincat, who wastes no time. He's all alone, and he just unleashes a rocket by Holtby, making it 4-1 Hawks. Seriously, probably a good move by Holtby. Good business decision by him not to get in the way of that shot, even with pads. That was not going to feel good. And with that business decision, the Capitals decide to pull Holtby from the game, so it looks like Delia officially wins this edition of the Survivor Challenge. And you could tell that the pulling of Holtby definitely had its desired effect, because this game got a lot chippier after that. The Washington Capitals really trying to get more physical, trying to get themselves momentum, so, making some hits, and, well, the Hawks weren't backing down either, so, that'll happen. Later on in the second period, Capitals with some offensive zone pressure, and Delia had to come up with an incredible save. Seriously, save of the year type of candidate. Oh my God, I'm going to shut up now so you can listen to this.
Keller in close quarters, got it to Wilson, save made by Delia, then Verona, out to Wilson, another save! My goodness!
Now I understand that Doc Emmer can get old for some, but just moments like that just remind me why I love him. Of course, shortly after that, Delia gives up another bad goal. Dmitry Orlov throwing the puck on net from a bad angle. Somehow squeaks by. I don't know how it does. I don't know where it went in. I'm thinking it went under the pads, but I don't really know. But nonetheless, not a good goal to give up. And really, if you think about it, it's just nature's way of evening things out. So, it's 4-2 going into the third. Now, 4-2 is a good scoreline for a hockey game, right? That sounds like a hockey score. Well, of course, the third period would then have 7 more goals. John Carlson would score 3 minutes into the third period to make it a 4-3 game. Just an absolute blast of a slap shot that gets by Delia. An actual decent goal that gets by Delia, not a bad goal for him to give up. And then shortly after that, Blackhawks go to the power play. They waste no time. Patrick Kane with the puck, and he just powers it through Copley and in. The puck doesn't need a whole lot of room to squeak by, and it didn't, but it squeaks by. And the Hawks have regained their 2-goal lead. It's 5-3. Then about 7 minutes into the third period, Patrick Kane makes a nice play on the boards to chip the puck out, and Toews and Jakubczak have a 2-on-1. And Toews, well, rightfully so, decides to take it himself. He blows it by Copley, low blocker side, which is basically cheating for a left-handed shot. Makes this a 6-3 game, and this game is pretty much over. Pretty much seals the deal. Then, of course, Carlson scores, then Niskanen scores, and, well, we have a 1-goal game again. Then with 5 minutes left to go in the third period, Jonathan Toews gets the puck in the neutral zone, then just completely walks around Dmitry Orlov in all alone. 5-hole back of the net, hat trick, touchdown Toews. And now that I think about it, $5.1 million for 4 more years, let's not trade for Orlov. So that made it 7-5. Then Dylan Strome would get an empty netter to make it 8-5 while getting hooked by Ovechkin. Look, Ovi, I get what you're trying to do, but Strome really doesn't need any help going any slower on skates. He's doing fine by himself in that regard. In fact, you may have actually made him go faster there. So the Hawks win, and they remind everyone that even though they're at the bottom of the standings in the league, every once in a lunar eclipse, they can look like a playoff team. Now, the big news kind of coming into this game was the fact that Jokiharju was a healthy scratch in this one, which I wouldn't really read too much into. I think the Blackhawks, just based on where they are in the standings right now, I think there's going to be a healthy amount of rotation for the rest of the year on the defensive end, just to see what they have for next year, essentially. On the horizon, you also have Forsling skating right now. You have Crawford back on the ice, speaking of which, if and when Crawford comes back, Delia is going to get sent back down. It's really a no-brainer. It's really the only move that can happen. Cam Ward has a no-move clause. It's just, it is what it is. And I think Delia understands that. I think that's partially why he's getting the majority of starts, besides the fact that he's also played really well. I think the Hawks kind of want him to get as many starts up here as they can before he kind of eventually gets sent back down. The Hawks have one more game before the All-Star break. They play the Islanders at home, and, well, the Islanders just recently jumped over the Washington Capitals for first place in the Metro Division, which is a surprise to everyone involved, really, especially after the Islanders lost John Tavares in the offseason. Not a lot of people thought they'd be doing this well right now. They are. It'll be a nice final test for the Hawks before the All-Star break. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Hawks Recap. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate that as always, but most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.